up, everyone? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Carrie, and today I'm going to take you on a really nice, gentle, foundational flow for my postpartum mamas, anyone postpartum. So you can start this when you're ready to start reconnecting to your core, reconnecting to your pelvic floor. It's very gentle. You can start anywhere from 4 weeks postpartum, 6 weeks postpartum, and beyond. Even if you're a few years postpartum and you still feel like you want to check in with your breathing and core and pelvic floor connection, this will be a really good flow for you. So we're going to start with some breathing, go into some neuromuscular activation of our core and pelvic floor muscles. We'll do some mobility of our thoracic spine, rib cage, a little bit of hips, and then I'll take you on a really gentle circuit with 3 exercises. So without further ado, let's get going. You will need a couple props. I have an exercise ball here, which will just be to put my feet on. So you can either use your couch or a chair, and one of either a Pilates ball and a yoga block. So one of them. If you don't have either of these, you can just use a couch cushion as well. Okay, so our first exercise is going to be some breathing. So we're going to work on breathing in 3 different positions. The first one will be on our back with our feet on something. So again, I've talked about this before, but I really want to focus on, with my postpartum moms, 360 breathing, which is expansion of our rib cage, yes, in the front, but also laterally in the sides and into our back. So we want that good rib cage expansion in all areas, not just belly breathing, and that's going to ensure our diaphragm moves well, connects with our pelvic floor really well, and just everything's kind of, feeling good in that sense. So sometimes it can be hard to get expansion everywhere, but that's why we're working on it. So you're going to start with feet on a chair, a ball, or your couch. And we're just going to take some nice big inhales and exhales. And try to have your exhale longer than your inhale. Hands can be on your lower ribs. And what I want you to try to work on is a few breaths where you're breathing into your front abdomen. And even deep into your pockets. So nice big expansion. And exhale it away. A couple more breaths here. Thinking about keeping spine long, so I'm not extending when I take a big breath, and I'm not crunching when I exhale. I'm just, spine is long. The only thing really moving is my rib cage and my abdomen, my belly. And the next thing I want you to do is put your hands on your outer ribs. And I want you to try to expand your breath into the side of your lungs. So not into the front anymore. We're going inhale, expand into our side ribs. And exhale it away. Nice long exhales. Breathe into the sides. Exhale it away. So 2 more like that. Last one. Good. So we are working on expanding in the front and expanding in the sides. We're going to try a different position. So you're going to grab either your Pilates ball or your yoga block, and you're going to put it under your side body, and we're going to lie on our side. Hands out overhead. And from here, we're going to take 5 breaths into our side rib cage. So nice big inhales. Expanding into your side rib cage. Nice long exhales. Last one, inhale and exhale. Good, and then we're going to switch sides. So again, you can use your Pilates ball or even a yoga block, whichever one's more comfortable for you. Nice and long. Expand into that side body right here. Beautiful. 5 breaths there. So we're going to do one more breathing position on our hands and knees, and this time I want you to focus on not necessarily your ribs, but what you feel at your pelvic floor. So when we inhale, we want to feel, or at least try to feel, kind of like an expansion or lengthening of your pelvic floor, so the muscles in between your pubic symphysis and your sacrum. It's kind of like a hammock. So when we inhale, our diaphragm descends and the pelvic floor lengthens to accommodate. So they kind of move together, sort of like a piston. And when we exhale, diaphragm comes up and pelvic floor comes up. So there's this synergy that happens when we're breathing. So this time I want you to cue into what you feel at your pelvic floor. So we're going to go on hands and knees. You can do a wide child's pose. Elbows under shoulders and just neck is long. And when you take your inhales, try to feel your pelvic floor lengthening, stretching, expanding. Inhale, expand. Exhale, let it go. Pelvic floor will lift a little bit. So keep breathing here. So we want that lengthen, slight pulling up. It's not a contraction though. So we just want to make sure the pelvic floor is not constantly on. We want to be able to have it on, off, just like any other muscle. It shouldn't just be constantly contracted. So take a few more breaths in and feel that pelvic floor lengthen. And then just exhale everything away. 2 more breaths here. Pelvic floor lengthens. Exhale, let it go. Good, and then we'll do 5 more breaths, same position, and we're going to focus on getting our back body expansion. So rib cage expanding in the posterior, in the back. Exhales nice and long, let it go. 4 more breaths. Two more breaths there. And when you're ready, we're going to meet in a seated position. Okay, so moving on to a little bit of mobility now. We're going to do some thoracic and rib cage mobility and a bit of hips. So again, like I talked about with our diaphragm, we want that moving down, moving up with our breath, working with our pelvic floor, and the rib cage mobility is a big part of that because we want a nice mobile rib cage. The diaphragm can move well and work with the pelvic floor. So that's where we're going to start. Let's meet in seated position. So we're going to do T-spine rotations in seated. So we're going to alternate reaching overhead and then rotating, slight twist. We're going to do a few right and left. We're still warming up, so don't force anything. You want just nice and easy. And then the next rotation, we're going to stay and hold for a few breaths. So stay in that rotation and take a few inhales. One more big inhale. And then switch. So reach up and over. So a few breaths here. Each exhale, see if you can turn a little bit more. But again, try and keep it comfortable. We're not trying to push it too much. Good. So from here, we're going to reach up, clasp our hands together, and then we're going to reach forward, trying to round that upper back, protract the shoulders, and take a few breaths right into your back body. Keep reaching, reaching, reaching. Good, and let that go. Next, we're going to go into a half kneeling position. We're going to go hands together. You're going to rotate towards the forward knee with your one hand. The other one's going to stay in reach. And let your eyes follow. So we're doing half kneeling T-spine rotations. And you can just breathe. Don't have to overthink it. Nice big expansions and exhales. Good, and then we'll switch sides. Getting all the way over, lead with your sternum. Sternum rotates, the arm comes, but it's all coming from the rib cage. Good, one more. And the next position, we'll stay in our half kneel, but we're going to bend to the side. So you're going to reach up overhead, grab the hand that's the same side as the knee that's down, and you're going to gently pull over, trying to make a C shape with your body, and take a few breaths in here, right into those side ribs. Gentle pull up, gentle reach. You can come in and out, or you can stay there, whatever feels better for you. Sometimes when I'm really tight, I like to just kind of go in and out. Good, and switch sides. Reach up and over. Or stay and breathe. One more breath in and out. Good. Next, we will meet in our 90-90 hips. So from the front, it looks like one hip rotated externally. This is internal rotation. And we're going to lean and come out. So it's sort of like a hinge, forward and back. We want nice mobile hips. We want that pelvis moving well with our breath. Inhale and exhale. If you want, you can just stay and breathe down low. When you're ready, we'll push back into more of a hip flexor groin stretch. And just breathe. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't need to be hard. You don't need to be pushing, wincing. Not everything needs to be so hard. We can just let it feel easy and breathe in a position. It's doing amazing things for our pelvic floor, our hips, our nervous system. Good, and then we'll switch sides. So again, you can go forward and backward, or if you want, you can just stay and lean forward and stay low. Breathing here. And when you're ready, we'll lean back into that groin and hip flexor stretch. You might have one side that's tighter than the other. That's pretty normal. We're not always symmetrical. And that's okay. Good, and then we'll windshield wiper that out. So hands behind your butt, feet flat, knees up, and they both fall to the same side. Good. That's it for the mobility. So we'll move on to some gentle neuromuscular control, just some contractions of our core and then our pelvic floor, and then we'll put them together. Okay, so now let's get into some activation. So we're going to lay on our back, nice comfortable position, knees bent, feet flat, hands on our lower ribs. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on what I call closing the front ribs. So on an exhale, so inhale, we're going to expand laterally, posteriorly, and in the front, so 360 expansion. Exhale, we're going to close the front ribs. So I want you to exhale all of your air out as much as you can. No more air will be left. And at the very end of that exhale, you'll feel your ribs close in the front. And then inhale, let it go. So your abdomen should be starting to get tight, your core should be starting to get tight with that exhale. You can even feel you want it to be tight in the front, in the sides. And then inhale, let it go. So it's not a crunch, not that. It's a wrapping from the inside, from your deep core. Just focus on closing those front ribs. We don't want them flared. We're not sucking belly button to spine. We're not crunching. It's a inhale, exhale, wrapping sensation. Should get nice and tight in the front because our obliques and our deep core muscles attach onto our ribs. And when we exhale and we activate them, we will get that closing, that coming down of the rib cage, and we'll get that tightness, which is what we want. We want that core compression. So you're going to practice that a few times. Inhale, expand, exhale, close the front ribs. And then this time, we're going to forget about that, and we're going to exhale, and we're going to lift our pelvic floor. So we're just going to inhale, expand. Exhale, focus on lifting your pelvic floor muscles, kind of like you could say stopping the flow of urine. I sometimes will say like picking up a blueberry with your vagina. Like you could, like hold in a fart. Like those are all your pelvic floor muscles as well. So you can either lift all of them together or you can try to do one. It's really just you feeling a lifting sensation of your pelvic floor muscles, and you don't want your butt muscles to squeeze or your like groin to squeeze right now. You just want to feel those muscles working and just actually try to feel them. And that's the neuromuscular connection that we're trying to build in those early postpartum days. Inhale, expand. Remember, our pelvic floor is lengthening. Exhale, lift your pelvic floor, zippering up from the bottom up. Inhale, expand, pelvic floor lengthens. Exhale, pelvic floor lifts, not squeezing my butt, not squeezing my thighs. So I always say like, it's a secret. Like no one should be able to see that you're doing a pelvic floor contraction. Okay, so once you got the hang of that, we're going to put them together. So we're going to do a few reps where inhale, expand. Inhale is always the same in these positions. It's an expansion, it's a diaphragm descending, it's a lengthening of the pelvic floor. Exhale, I would say ease, go together. Exhale to exert. Exhale through the hard parts. You're exhaling. We're going to now close the front ribs and lift the pelvic floor. So we're going to try to do both together. So you're going to lay on your back, knees bent. Inhale, expand. Exhale, lift your pelvic floor, wrap your deep core. Exhale all your air out. Inhale, let it go. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, wrap core. Should be tight. Inhale, let it go. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, wrap core. That is the fundamental basis of everything we're going to learn. Breathing, bracing. It's not that, it's different positions are easier to learn or easier to feel. So sometimes lying on your back is easier and sometimes people find that's actually way harder. So now we're going to switch positions and we're going to go onto all fours. So when we're on all fours, it's the same idea. We're going to inhale, lengthen. Exhale, close the front ribs, lift our pelvic floor. Inhale. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, wrap core. And again, my spine should be staying long. I'm not crunching through it. So you can really feel on all fours, like if you're doing that right, you want a nice neutral spine, wrapping from the inside, tightening, lifting the pelvic floor, zippering up. So now we're going to add on with a little bit of movement. We're going to go into some rock backs. So we're going to go forward. Inhale into your pelvic floor. Exhale, wrap core, lift pelvic floor. So inhale back. Exhale forward, lift pelvic floor, wrap core. Inhale. Exhale, lift and wrap. So we're trying to pair some movement with the contractions and coordinate that. So those are rock back breaths. So, and if you mess up the order, it's fine as long as you're moving with your breath, and as long as you're letting go of your pelvic floor with your inhale. Don't keep it on and keep it tight. Okay, so that is the bread and butter. You're going to practice that as much as you want, as much as you can. The closing the ribs, lifting pelvic floor, getting those down, getting those coordinated, and actually feeling it. So you can try on your back, you can try on all fours. There's lots of different ways. You can try it sitting, kneeling, like all of that. So, but for the purpose of today, we're just going to leave it there. We're going to move on to just a gentle circuit, activating those guys. Okay, so for our circuit, we're going to be in 3 different positions, activating all those same muscles, and you will need either your Pilates ball or a block or a couch pillow if you don't have either of those. So the first one is going to be a hook lying bridge with a squeeze. So you're going to lie on your back, ball or block or pillow between your knees, and we're going to do a few contractions just how we did it with our inhale, expand, exhale, contract, and then we're going to squeeze the ball. So it's going to look like this. Inhale, exhale, lift and wrap, and now squeezing the ball. Inhale, let it go, let the ball go. Exhale, squeeze, lift and wrap. So we're going to do that for about 30 seconds. I want you just to try it out. Don't forget about the pelvic floor lift. Don't just squeeze the groin. Actually, lift your pelvic floor. And we're focusing on not crunching, keeping spine long. 360 breathing. Inhale, expand, pelvic floor lengthens. Exhale. Good. Now, if that's where you're at, you're going to keep doing that. If you want the progression, I will show that, which is just basically the same thing, but in a bridge. So it's inhale, everything's the same. Exhale, lift and wrap, squeeze, and lift the hips. Inhale down. Exhale, lift and wrap. Inhale, expand, pelvic floor lengthens. Exhale, zipper, wrap, and squeeze. Good. So once you've done a few of those, you can pause the video, keep going with that if that felt good for you. Otherwise, we're going to meet on our side. So this one is similar in terms of our coordination of all of that, but instead of squeezing the ball, we're going to push down with our upper body, pecs, shoulders. We're trying to get a good solid pelvic floor contraction without having to squeeze our groin, because that will definitely help, but we don't always want to have to rely on that, and we just want to be in a different position. So a little bit more gravity helping us here. So again, we're going to inhale, expand. Exhale, push. Pelvic floor lifts. Wrap deep core, pushing down, 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 down. Inhale, expand, let it go. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, wrap core, and push. Again, try not to squeeze your glutes. Try not to squeeze anything else. Just your pelvic floor and core, and compress that ball. If you don't have a ball, you're going to push on your block, or you're going to push on a folded up couch pillow. Then we'll do both sides. Again, inhale, expand. Exhale, lift and wrap, push the ball. Do 5 of those. Now the progression, if you try those and next round you cycle through it, you want to do the progression, we'll just go into a side plank with our breath. So we're going to not do holds, we're going to go with the breath. So it's inhale, expand, exhale, zipper, wrap, and come up into a modified side plank. Inhale down, exhale, lift and wrap, coming up. So from the side, people sometimes get confused. So I'm not I'm not just like dropping down, I'm actually sitting my butt back. And then it's a drive forward as we do this. Inhale, expand. Exhale, lift, wrap, and hold. So that would be a progression to the side lying push. So if you do this circuit on your own, or you want to pause and do it again another round, you can try the side plank. But honestly, slow is fast. Like, don't rush it. If you're not ready for that, it's totally fine. You will be soon. That one, just with the ball push, actually is like quite challenging if you push pretty hard. Okay, third position is going to be on hands and knees in a quadruped. So it's going to use our block pillow or Pilates ball again. And we're just practicing all of this in different positions, right? Like, we want to get used to gravity, get used to like feeling this. So we'll do the exact same thing as the first squeeze, but we're on hands and knees. So we're going to inhale, expand, 360 expansion. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, wrap core, and squeeze the ball. Inhale, expand. Exhale, lift and wrap, and squeeze the ball. Inhale, let it go. So again, I'm not crunching to get my abs on. I'm staying nice and long, expanding, wrapping, lifting pelvic floor, squeezing the ball. I'll show you the progression. So we can either, there's two, you can either tuck your toes, and then when we exhale and when we breathe out, we can lift our knees and squeeze. Or if that's kind of a lot going on, sometimes I just won't squeeze, and then I'll inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, down. Exhale, lift. So working with the breath. So option one, if you've never done this or you're very early postpartum, you're going to go with option one for a while until that feels really good. And then option two, you can take away the ball and just lift up into that beast plank, or you can even keep the ball there and lift up and squeeze. Okay. As you've seen, the form is at this point the same. We want to inhale, expand, exhale, contract, lift pelvic floor, zippering up, wrapping our deep core, not crunching, not sucking belly button to spine. Ribs are nice and down, not flaring. And you're just learning how to move in and out of that. And that sets the foundation for everything beyond. It will set the foundation for your weight training, even getting back to more like dynamic stuff like jumping, running. And there are different ways, I will teach progressions where you're holding a longer plank and it's like, well, when do I breathe in? When do I breathe out? If I'm holding a plank and I'm not moving for 30 seconds, like there's different techniques, but once you get this down, those ones will be actually quite a lot easier to learn. So I recommend starting with this. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you want to see more. Let me know if you have any questions about any of that. You're not sure if you're doing it right. Please reach out and I can help you. And other than that, thanks for watching. See you next time.